I felt like fucking garbage. I was drinking purely plastic bottled water. Everything in my home was basically made of plastic. I have an exceptional amount of millennial debt poverty despite my educational privilege. My health is more important than money. Hi, I'm the person that made the video about the tens of thousands of microplastics in our homes. And a lot of you understandably said, Dr. Bird, I can't afford to do that. What I'm telling you is that I couldn't either. I took on debt to get rid of most every one of my large belongings, moved to a place that had better air quality, replaced my entire wardrobe and most everything in my home, which included donating. I was donating for it it was upwards of a year. What I am not telling you is that you need to change everything about your life tomorrow. I thought I made that clear when I said I replaced everything in my wardrobe and my bedding over the course of a year. The fact is this society, a neoliberal society, what it does is it uses individual solutions to divert from systemic problems, but it also tries to frame simultaneously individual problems as if they are useless in comparison to fundamental systemic changes. We need both. There is no world in which we get to act as if our actions don't impact the larger ecology. Colonial capitalism depends upon you forgetting that. Whether it's masking to protect from the eugenics violences of this society, or if it's specifically in the case of this new study about tens of thousands of microplastics being inside of our indoor air, us breathing that in every day, tens of thousands of microplastics collecting in our bodies, we need to take individual actions to change that and reduce the amount of microplastics. There is no world in which simply waiting for fundamental systemic changes is going to decrease the amount of micro and nanoplastics you are inhaling every day in your home because you have filled it with plastic products. We need to be honest about our individual actions that need to be taken, not in a neoliberal diverting from systemic problems kind of way, but in the fact that we have taken part as consumers within a deeply problematic and ecologically devastating society of colonial capitalism that we need to fundamentally change our habits of. No matter what we consume, that's the case. And my larger work goes into that full scale. We need to change the way we relate to each other, and we need to change the way that we experience being one type of being in a larger natural balance that has been destroyed by this system. That's why we have PFAS in the rainwater. That's why we have lead in the fucking drinking water and all the piping for the most part still. That's why plastic is in our fucking brains and our veins and our arteries and all this shit clogging up our fucking bodies, because we, against all fucking reason, because colonial capitalism is short-sighted and profit-centric, we have been sold these things because it doesn't give a single fuck about the long term. We need to care about us enough to make these changes so that we can survive. Don't fall into doomerism. You are not going to survive with that mentality. You need to recognize that you making a change is going to have a ripple effect across the entire society. It happened with the lack of action. It's happening with everyday denialism and delusion about C19 and countless other fucking contaminants that are experienced at the microscopic level and are leading to ultimately a climate crisis collapse. We all need to do what we can within our power. And we need to do what we need to protect ourselves and others by utilizing, unfortunately, for the moment, petroleum-based plastic products. Like somebody pointed out on Red Note, a CPAP machine, plastic masks that are high quality, protect from C19, and any of the other single-use plastics in medical facilities. Because we have a society that has falsely conflated plastics with sterility. It is not clean to microplastic and nanoplastic our entire fucking bodies and entire fucking ecosystem. And we're going to need to make changes to fix that, individually and collectively. As a global society, all of our health is more important than money, and that is going to need to be the way we survive, regardless of whether it's plastic, C-19, or the climate crisis.